Okay, welcome everyone. Uh, we are going to go to the participants and we're going to mute all. Okay, everyone's muted. Okay, welcome to the Shiur tonight on Parshas Lech Lecha. It's being sponsored and dedicated by our good friend Mordechai Rottenstein in memory of his mother, Ita Sima Bas Yisrael Nochem. And we thank her very much for the sponsorship of this tonight's Shiur in her memory. She should be Zoche to a Lichtik in Gan Eden. Anyone else who would like to sponsor a Shiur, please let me know. So what we're going to do is we're going to share our screen, and we're going to share our screen so that we can see some of the let's see, where's share screen? Here we go. So that we can see the psukim that we're going to be talking about. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is try to get the sharing from the screen. No, we have to go. Whoops, let me get this down a little bit. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay, you don't see that yet. We'll be back in a moment. Nope, we've got to get back to the video. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. Okay, so share. Here we go. All right, now everyone can see this. We are.
Yes, Rabbi. Yes.
No, Baruch Hashem. Okay, we are starting the parsha with the very first pasuk, and we're going to comment on that very first pasuk. Okay, take a look at the screen. We have in front of you. Actually, we're going to go back one page. Okay, here we go. It says like this: Vayomer Hashem al Avram. You all see it, right? You can all see this, right? Okay. Vayomer Hashem.
Rabbi, everything is good.
Great. Here we go. Vayomer Hashem al Avram, and Hashem said to Avram, Lech lecha, which translates simply as "go for you." That's what it means. Lech lecha. Lech means go, and lecha means for you. Me'artzecha, from your land, umi moladetecha, and from your birthplace, umi beis avicha, and from the house of your father, el ha'aretz, to the land, asher ar'eka, that I will show you. Now, why did we translate this lech lecha? That word lecha altogether is totally superfluous. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted Avraham to go from his land, from his birthplace, and from the house of his father, he could have just said, Vayom Hashem el Avram, Hashem said to Avram, Lech me'artzecha u'miwaladetecha mibeis avicha. What's the word lecha there? Okay? So we have to keep that in mind as we read the next pasuk, please. Let's go along. Here we go, the next one. Ve'escha legoy gadol, and I will make you a great nation. Promise number 1, I will make you a great nation. Second promise, va'avarechecha, I will bless you. Third promise, va'agadla shemecha, and I will make your name great. Fourth promise, v'heyei bracha, and it will be a blessing. Your name will be a blessing. There are 4 promises in this particular pasuk. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will enlarge your name, make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And the blessings continue to go on from there, which we're not going to deal with today. We're going to focus just on the beginning, these first 2 psukim. Now, if you take a look at these 2 psukim, we already said that there is one anomaly we have to answer, which is, why is there an extra word lecha, for you? The next question is, he gave him 4 brachos here. What do they mean? I will make you a great nation. How is that different than va'agad lo shemecha? I will make your name great. How is it different from va'avarechecha, and I will bless you? And what does he mean when he said va'yei bracha, and you will be a blessing? Interesting. Let's go to the Rashi and see, because these are simple pshat questions. And as we know, when Rashi writes on something, his intention is to give us the clear, simple pshat. Pshat means simple meaning, straightforward meaning. Let's take a look at that straightforward meaning. Okay, so Rashi begins, here's the second page that we're looking at. Rashi here, this is a Rashi on Bereshis, where it says in Perek Yud Beis Pasuk Aleph, Lech Lecha. Again, the question is on the extra word Lecha. So Rashi is answering the question. He says, I'll tell you why I said Lecha. Because it's Lahana Ascha Uletovascha. It's for your benefit and for your good. I'm doing this for you. I don't just want you to do it because I want you to listen to me. I'm doing this for you, for your benefit and for your good. Why? Because Sham Eschel Legoy Gadol. There, when you go away from your father's birthplace, from your own house, when you go away from here and you go there, Sham over there, Eschel Legoy Gadol. There, I can make you into a great nation. Kan, here where you are. Now, he was in the place where his father, Terach, passed away, which was in Haran, and God's telling him to leave Haran. He says, Kan, here in Haran, which is north of Israel to the east. It could be that it was somewhere around Syria, or a bit even more north than that, somewhere in the Mesopotamian area. But Kan, here where you are, over here, you cannot have the merit of children. Yet Abraham was already 75 years old when he leaves his place. He's married to Sarah, and they didn't have any children. So he says, Sham, Kan, here you can't have children, so you have to go there. Secondly, Va'od, and another reason why I want you to go to that place which I will show you, She'odia tivacha ba'olam. I will let your nature, your teva, I'm going to let your teva be known to the world, because your nature and your teva is something the world needs. It doesn't have it now. It needs you to have this greatness, this nature shown to the rest of the world. Let's focus on the first part of Rashi. Rashi says, I want you to go for you, for your benefit and for your good, and there I will make you into a great nation. Over here, it's impossible for you to have children. So I want you to go there. Now, this is considered one of the 10 tests that Avraham had to go through. You take a look at Pirkei Avos, you're going to see that in the 5th parak it says that Avraham Avinu had 10 tests. What that list of 10 tests is a question of some discussion. Many say that the first test was when he was thrown into the fiery furnace by Nimrod. Some say this was the first and toughest test. Lech lecha. Go for you and leave your birthplace and your father's house. Now, I want to share with you a very interesting question that's asked by Rav Moshe Feinstein Zal in his Sefer Darash Moshe. He asks an obvious question. Wait a minute. You're telling me that this is one of the 10 tests? What kind of test is this? It's not a test at all. Hashem is coming to Avraham and he's saying to him, I want you to go to this land that I will show you. By the way, just the fact that he doesn't tell him where it is already a test. But okay. But he's telling him, go for you. And what's the word for you? For you means for your benefit and for your good. And there you can have children. So imagine a doctor said to a couple that was infertile, and he said, you know, living in New York is really not for you. I want you to move to Jerusalem. Over there, you're guaranteed to have a child. Guaranteed. Here, you cannot have children in New York. There's something about whatever. So go to Jerusalem and then you're going to have children. Let me ask you, if you were that husband or that wife, wouldn't you say, wow, that's all? He said, yeah, then you'll have many, you'll be a large family. Go right ahead. Is that a test? Is that a test? I'm giving you a guarantee. Guaranteed. This is God, by the way, not just a doctor. This is Hashem. He's coming to Avram and he's saying, for your benefit and for your good, because over there, I'm going to make you into a great nation. Here, you can't possibly have children. What kind of test is this? There's no test at all. This is something that's not even a test of a person's free will. Should I go? Shouldn't I? What's the test? There is no test. So Moshe explains why this is a test. And from the explanation he gives, we can learn so much about why Abraham is the father that began the Jewish people. Not only for his great kindness to others, but because of his total trust in Hashem. Total trust in Hashem. Isn't it logical that Abraham could ask, listen, you want me to go? I'm going to go. I have a small little question. I hope you don't mind if I just ask. I'm going. Don't worry. I'm going. Whatever you say, I'm going to do. I have a little question. You're God. You can do anything. Why do I have to go there to have children? If you want to give me children, and it's impossible for Sarah to have children at this point. In fact, the Medrash goes so far as to say that it was impossible for Sarah to have children. She didn't even have a womb, according to the Medrash. But when she comes to Eretz Yisrael, all of a sudden, things changed. So Avram could easily ask the question, I'm just curious, you want me to go? I'm going to go. I'm going, no problem. But why couldn't it happen right here where I am? Why can't this take place now? Why is it only if I go through this trial? Why is it only when I uproot myself, leave my father's house, leave my family, leave my homeland, leave every comfort and peace that I've ever known in my life, and you want me to go and be a pioneer in something that I'm incapable of doing? You're telling me that I must do that is for my benefit. And Avram doesn't make a peep, but he picks himself up and goes and doesn't even ask that obvious question, says Rav Moshe. That's the greatness of Abraham, because he could have asked God and said, listen, I'm going, just tell me, why can't it be over here? Why must it be over there? Now, wouldn't we ask that same question? Don't we do that all the time? Why am I given this difficulty in life? Why can't things just be smoother? Why can't all the good that's supposed to come from my overcoming my difficulties, why can't that good come without my having to overcome difficulties? And not only that, overcome difficulties, but God is telling me to go to a land, Asher Ar'eka, to a land that I will show you. He doesn't even tell him where it is. Imagine you're told to uproot yourself and go. Where am I going? Just go. And there, where you're going, where is that? Where am I going? I don't even know where I'm going. And what does Abraham do? He picks himself up and he goes, because that's what Hashem wants, without peep, without question. If that's what you want, that's what I'm doing. If that's what you ask of me, Hashem, that's what I'm doing. Is it any wonder that Avraham Avinu, Avraham our father, is our father? Because we can learn so much from that. We can learn so much from the nature of Avraham Avinu that Hashem tells him a simple thing like, well, it's not simple, but a relatively straightforward thing. Go over there and you're going to have you'll be a great nation, which we would assume is not a test at all. And it turns out to be the biggest test, because Avram could have easily said, I can have it over here. Why should I go there? And he didn't even ask it. He didn't say it at all. You know, there's a famous story about the Chofetz Chaim. They say that when the Chofetz Chaim was a young man, they asked of Yisrael Meir HaKohen Kagan, by the way, who died in 1933 and was very, very wary of the world situation at the time. But the Chofetz Chaim was once asked, when he was a youngster, if you were Hashem, if you could come before God, not Hashem, if you could come before Hashem and you could ask him to change anything in the world, what would you change? What would you do differently? What would you do differently in reference to people? And the Chofetz Chaim said, absolutely nothing different. I wouldn't do anything different. I couldn't do anything different. Because everything Hashem does is for the good. And I can't suppose in my mind that I know better. A lot of people are under the impression, if you'd give me my druthers, I would do this and this and this because that would be better. Oh, really? Are you sure? Here you see what Avraham Avinu is all about. Avraham Avinu is all about, you want me to go, I'm going. And you tell me it's for my good, it's always for my good because everything you do is good. And so Avraham Avinu is the father of the Jewish people. And that's what Rav Moshe meant to say when he said the test was that Avraham picked himself up and went because Hashem told him to go. As the psukim say later on, and we can see those psukim right here, where it says in pasuk number Daled right here, Vayelech Avram, and Avram went, Ka'asher diber elov Hashem, the same way, just like Hashem told him. Now, that line alone is of significant value because there's Vayelech Avram. You could take out Ka'asher diber elov Hashem, the way Hashem spoke. Why is it there? It could have just said Vayelech Avram, Vayelech ito Lot, and the Avram ben Chamesh Shana v'Shivim Shana. It says in Mechaber, he was 75 years old when he left. Why do you have to say Ka'asher diber elov Hashem? Because you would think that the only reason he went was because of the gifts that he was going to get. So along comes the pasuk and says, I want you to know that Avram did this for one reason and one reason only. Ka'asher diber elov Hashem. Because this is what Hashem told him to do. And once Avram was told that this is what he has to do, instantly he went and did it because of the fact that Hashem said. And that was the greatness of Avraham. Let's go on with the other pasuk where it says, I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and then make your name great, and it will be a blessing. Now, if you'll take a look at the Rashi on this particular pasuk, it's very interesting. I want you to take a look at this. Look at what Rashi says about the Eschol L'Goy Gadol. Okay, you ready? So the first thing Rashi does is tell us that Hashem is telling Avram, I want you to know, I'm aware of all the trials and tribulations you're going to face by traveling. I want you to know it's not going to be a problem. And he explains because the traveling causes three things. Number one, it's hard to have children. You're going to lose your money because a rolling stone catches no moss. It makes your name less. You can't develop a name if you're moving from place to place. That's why he needed these three blessings, because he promised him about three things. Number one, you'll have children. Number two, I will bless you with money. And I will make your name great. Simple explanation of Rashi. Now watch this. Watch this. Okay, I want to start with this davar acher. Do you see this on the board? Take a look. Rashi is now going to quote a midrashic interpretation. Look at the words of Rashi. Davar acher ve'eschol l'goy gadol. Another interpretation of what it meant when Hashem said, I will make you into a great nation. Zeh she'omrim Elokei Avraham. That's the meaning of what we say in Shemona Esrei. We start Shemona Esrei, Baruch Atah Hashem, right? Blessed are you Hashem. What are the next words? Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Right? Right? Okay. Now, I'll make you a great nation. That's the meaning of the statement that Hashem is the God of Avraham. And I will bless you. That's what we say in the Shemona Esrei when we say Elokei Yitzchak. Va'agadla shemecha, and I will make your name great. Zeh she'omrim Elokei Yaakov. This refers to the statement in Shemona Esrei when we say Elokei Yaakov. Yochol, you might think, says the Medrash, Yehiyu Chosmin Bekulan. You might think when we end the bracha, we would say, look, the way you started it is the way you end it. How do we start? Then we go through a whole thing. Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Mogain. And you would think we should end it, Baruch Atah Hashem, Mogain Avraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov. After all, we mentioned Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov at the beginning. Why not mention Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov at the end? So that's Rashi's quoting of the Medrash. Yochol Yuchosmin Bechulan. You might think that we should end the bracha with all three names. Talmud Lomar. Therefore, the pasuk ends off by saying the Hayei bracha, and you will be a blessing. Bechochosmin. They seal the bracha with your name, the lo bahem, but not with their name. Wow. We start out by saying Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, but we end with Baruch Atah Hashem Mogain Avraham. Why don't we say Baruch Atah Hashem Mogain Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov? No, Hashem did not want that. He wanted that the seal of the blessing be only with Avraham, nothing else. He didn't want the bracha to be sealed with Elokei Yitzchak or the bracha to be sealed with Elokei Yaakov. Why not? What is this Medrash telling us that Rashi quotes? Now, when you look at it, it's very difficult to figure this out. I must resort to saying over to you a beautiful Dvar Torah that is written up in a famous sefer, a book in English. It's a sefer called The Royal Reach. It was written by the very great late Rabbi Norman Lamb. Rabbi Norman Lamb was one of the greatest rabbis with the ability to explain difficult midrashim and to give us homiletical interpretations and insights. He was also the dean of Yeshiva University for many, many years, a Talmud Chacham par excellence, a really great leader of the Jewish people, just passed away a few months ago. And Rabbi Lamb, in his Sefer, The Royal Reach, gives the following beautiful, beautiful explanation. Let's take a look at the Medrash. It says, I will make you into a great nation. That refers to Elokei Avraham. What was the outstanding attribute of Avraham Avinu? What is that single outstanding attribute? What is he most known for? Even though we're discussing his total emunah and bitachon in Hashem, that's not what he was most known for. He was most known for one thing and one thing only, and that is Gemilas Chesed, the Chesed of Avraham. Avraham's Chesed was legendary. 3 strangers, Arabs, are coming in his direction when he's in big pain of the recent operation of the Bris Milah, and it doesn't faze him. He runs to greet them, to welcome them, despite the fact that they weren't Jewish. There were no Jews. Avram is the Machnas Oreach par excellence. Of course, the Medrash says he had a tent with doors open to each direction, so that wherever people would come from, they'd be welcome to his house. That's Avram Avinu, Av Gemilas Chasadim. So the first thing you should know, I'm going to make you a great nation. When we say Elokei Avraham, we say he's the God of the Avraham that taught that Gemilas Chesed is of paramount importance. Then we say Elokei Yitzchak. Now, Elokei Yitzchak, we have to understand, Yitzchak had a different attribute. It wasn't Gemilas Chesed. Yitzchak's attribute was also in the realm of Pachad Yitzchak. His Yiras Shamayim, his fear of Hashem was enormous. Yitzchak knew, as we're going to see in next week's Sedra, in Parashat Vayera, that he was going to the Akedah. But the pasuk says, Vayelchu shneim yachdav. Him and his father walked together. Yitzchak had such awesome fear of God that it transgressed and went beyond what we would normally understand. And Yitzchak was that unique individual who had this awesome Yiras Shamayim. And I will bless you refers to being the God of Yitzchak with this Yirah Shemayim. Va'agad lo shemecha, I will make your name great. Zeu she'omer Elokei Yaakov. That's what we say. That's what we mean when we say Elokei Yaakov, the God of Yaakov. Now, Yaakov had an attribute which we all say every day in the davening. Every day. Titain emes liYaakov. As we say Chesed Avraham. So Yaakov is the truth. Yaakov is the forefather of truth. So that's what it means when it says, I will make your name great, the father of truth. Now, Rabbi Norman explains like this. You're starting Shemona Esrei. You are a child of Abraham, you're a child of Yitzchak, you're a child of Yaakov. I want you to know when you stand Shemona Esrei and you say, okay, Abraham, you're saying he is the God of Avraham Avinu who represents Chesed. I want you to know he's Elokei Yitzchak. He is the God of the power, the might of Yitzchak in his emunah and bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his fear of God. And I want you to know he's Elokei Yaakov. He's the God of truth, the God of emes. No shenanigans, no waffling, no, well, I really meant that, I didn't mean this, none of that. Straight, no way out, just straight. But I want you to know, says Hashem, you might think that the final essence of the Jewish person is to be all of them. That you have to not only be a person who has kindness, chesed, not only a person who has awe and fear and power of the recognition of Hashem, and not only a person who is only of the most truthful sort, but I want you to know, Talmud Lomar, you're going to be a blessing. You seal it with the kindness of Avraham Avinu. And Rabbi Lam explains as follows. It's great to be a person of truth. But if a person's a person of truth, we say ourselves in the English language, the truth hurts. So someone who is not, if there's someone who is not of the absolute highest, let me get rid of this sign over here. I don't know what it is. If there's someone who is not of the absolute highest quality of truth, and what you do is you let him know or her know, that's a lie. You're untrue. I can't talk to you. So what you've done is you've taken truth, but you've thrown it at the person in a way that's not with kindness. What if somebody doesn't have that much God-fearing qualities? They're not filled with the power and strength to be withstanding, like Yitzchak was able to withstand. So you tell them, you really have to be stronger in your convictions. You really have to take the bull by the horns and run with it. But when you do that, you're not sealing it with kindness. You're giving it over to the person with a very strong, I'm against you type of situation. So along comes the Medrash and says, okay, people, first, I'm going to make you a great nation. You're going to be because of the God of Abraham's kindness. Secondly, I'm going to bless you because you have power and you have God-fearing qualities. Third, I want you to know you're going to be great because you have the truth. But I want you to know when you take those attributes, whether it's kindness or power or truth, I want you to know that when you apply them, each and every one of them must be applied with kindness. The seal of all three, the end of the bracha is Baruch atah Hashem Mogein Avraham. The seal, the end result, is that which is all three together. It's not just the power and not just the truth, but the seal of all of them is kindness. And Avraham Avinu is the seal, Baruch atah Hashem Mogein Avraham, the shield of Avraham. You are the shield of Avraham because you are the one who seals the entire existence of the Jewish people. The kindness that the Jewish people are represented by is the seal of the bracha. And that's the meaning of this Rashi, and that's the explanation of this medrash that says that Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yisrael, Elokei Yaakov, Mogen Avraham, we seal it with kindness. No matter what else we have, we seal it with kindness. Now I'm going to go now to a Ramban, which is based on a pasuk, which we'll go back to for a moment, and then we'll come to the Ramban again. As the pasuk goes on, the pasuk tells us, here we are in pasuk Vav. Look at this. The pasuk goes on, Avram leaves, he takes his wife, he takes Lot, and so on. Vayavar Avram ba'aretz, Avram goes through the land, ad makom Shechem, until the place of Shechem, ad elon moreh, until the place of the terebinths of Moreh, meaning to the trees and mountains of Moreh. Now, the word Moreh means teaching. You should know the word Moreh. I'm sure you all know, but you didn't go to kindergarten. Moreh this, Morah, because usually a female, but Moreh is a teaching, right? In fact, the word Torah comes from the word Moreh, because Torah means teaching. So he went until Elon Moreh, which is the tense of Moreh, meaning to the place of teaching. And the Knani with that in the land. Now, why is Shechem the place of teaching? Well, if you'll take a look in Parshas Re'eh in Devarim, and if you've ever been to Eretz Yisrael and gone on a tour, listen to what you will see. You're going to be driving up the Jordan Valley. Okay, you're going to be coming from Ein Gedi. You're on a tour, and you're coming from the south, from Ein Gedi, and you're driving up the Jordan Valley. Okay, you're driving up the Jordan Valley, all the way up, the road going straight up, and you come to the Shomron, and you're driving in the Jordan Valley, and you come to an area right by Shechem in the north, a little bit to the north. And the tour guide says, as we're going north, I want you to look out your window to your left. Oh, you, it's going to be this way. I want you to look out the window to your left. And you know what you're going to see? You're going to see in the distance 2 mountains with a valley in between. And Shechem is the city, right, situated in that valley. And the 2 mountains are stark teachings. One mountain, Har Grizim, is filled with grazing land, as the word implies. The other mountain, Har Eival, is a bald mountain. Nothing, zero, zilch, efes, nada is growing on it. Nothing. It's a mountain of rocks and baldness. They both have the same rainfall, the same sunshine. But Har Grizim is fertile and verdant, while Har Eival is bald and inhospitable to any life whatsoever. What is this telling us? Hey, you can be either one. You have a choice. You can be fertile, verdant, productive, or you could be nothing but a bald, rocky, empty, unfertile, unproductive mountain. The choice is yours. The rainfall is going to be the same. The sun is going to be the same. What's in you? What's inside? And that's what's called the plains of teaching. Because when you get there, you look at it and you say to yourself, look at this. Look at this possibility. Look what this land shows us. The land is teaching us that we have this opportunity. And Avram Avinu is going to this land because of the teachings that come with this land. So Avram goes through the land. And now we go back to the Ramban. And here's the Ramban. Now this Ramban is one of the most famous statements of the Ramban that every student of Chumash at some point has to come across and learn. And I'm only going to read with you 4 lines. Omer lecha klal. I'm going to tell you a general principle. Tavin oso. I want you to understand it, says the Ramban. B'chol ha-parshios ha'ba'os. In all the upcoming parshios. Be'inyan Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. In the topic of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. V'hu inyan gadol. And it's a very, very big subject. Azkiruhu Rabosenu B'derech Tzara. Our rabbis have mentioned it in a very short form. The Amru, and they said, and he quotes the Tanchuma, it's a medrash. Here it is, just one line, not even a whole line. The next 6 words, Kol ma she'ira la'avos, everything that happened to the fathers, Siman Levanim, is a sign to the children. We know this expression sometimes in a little bit of a different form. The Ramban quotes it, Kol ma she'ira la'avos Siman Levanim. We normally say, Ma'aseh avos Siman Lebanim. The deeds of the fathers are signs to the children. Whatever happened to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov happens to their children. I'll give you easily some examples. Avraham comes to the land. There's a famine in the land. Where does he go when there's a famine? Goes to Mitzrayim. Yaakov, his grandson, there was a famine in the land of Israel. Where did he go? He went to Egypt, right? Maaseh Avos Siman Levanim. The deeds of the fathers are signs to the children. Whatever happened to our forefathers happens to the children. And if you go throughout Chumash Bereshis and throughout the Torah, in fact, all through the Torah, we are going to see over and over and over again these seminal events that happen in the lives of the Avos that end up happening to the Jewish people as a whole. If one wants to study Jewish history and the future of the Jewish people, it's all there in the Tanakh. All you have to do is see what happened with the Avos, and you'll know what will happen with the children based on how we react, or rather pro-act, according to what our Torah gives us the opportunity to go and do. So here we have a number of interesting ideas at the very beginning of Parshas Lech Lecha. There's a lot more going on. If we had more time, we would spend a lot more time at it. But in Yetz Hashem, we'll come back at some point to Parshas Lech Lecha and discuss it even further. In Yetz Hashem, next week we'll once again meet at 8:30 for Parshas Vayera. You can unmute yourself now if you'd like to speak about anything. If you'd like to say anything or make any comments, now is the time, and we'll see if we can't go off of this share. Let's see if we can get off the share. Let's see. Okay, we'll go on this, and we'll see if we can't get off the share. I don't think so. I don't know how to do it. Okay, so I'm unmuting everybody. Okay, everybody's unmuted. Any comments or anything you'd like to say at this point? You're unmuted. Okay? No takers. All right. All right, so everybody unmuted. Oops. No, okay, everybody's unmuted. If you wish to speak, now's the time. Any comments or questions? Okay, if not, then we'll pick it up. Yet Hashem next week.
Yes, Koach Rabbi, as usual, it's beautiful.
You're very welcome. Yes, Hashem, we should be zealous to keep learning. It's really wonderful to keep learning. So any.